First of all, what is the one phrase that can instantly turn a perfect date into a date from hell? 50-50. For some people, 50-50 means independent, modern, equal. For others, it means low effort, low investment, and absolutely not. Okay? But here's my question. Is 50-50 even down the middle? And if the middle is where things need to be split, are we prepared to split everything down the middle? That means the money, yes, but also the effort, emotional labor, the household, the initiation. Listen, the Boss Bae panel is here, and I am super excited to have this conversation. Don't go anywhere. It's time for Modern Day Bae.
Nah, but for real though, check me out though. Hold on, check me out. Well, it's the MDB, and that's the queendom for me. And if we all up in the queendom, it's about 11 p.m. Eastern time, where you find a whole lot of them dimes on the app. Spark the L and sit back, hit different with 30 rap. Modern Day Bae is like that. Boss Bae, Panda, where you at? Your boy needs some advice with a little bit of laughs. Ella drugs, speak the truth, it don't be like no cap. Every Tuesday, I be waiting on that feature. Bright purple ribbon, clicking in it, they be preaching. Ella drugs, speak the truth, it don't be like no cap. Ella drugs, speak the truth, it don't be like no cap. Ella drugs, speak the truth, it don't be like no cap. Ella drugs, speak the truth, it don't be like no cap. Daddy.
Welcome to Modern Day Bae, the only live stream podcast exploring self-love and healthy modern day relationships. My name is Elle, the Drug, and we record and release new episodes every Tuesday. So make sure you tap into the live recording at 8 p.m. Eastern over on TikTok and listen to the latest episodes wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts. And while you're listening or watching, make sure you are staying connected with us by liking, subscribing, leave a review, share an episode. All of it really helps us out. All right. And make sure, above all, that you are following us on Instagram at Modern Day Bae Podcast. Okay. I want to start off this episode by saying if we didn't need to talk about this conversation, if we didn't have to have the convo, chat, we wouldn't have the convo. All right. But lately, this topic has been rearing its ugly head all up and through my algorithm, and I feel attacked, and I feel that we need to discuss this, all right? We need to talk about the dating elephant in the room, 50-50, right? Now, immediately the questions, who pays, who contributes, who initiates, who gives more, right? Ultimately, who's the burden on, right? The most, who has the most burden, right? All of those things go into this conversation. To some people, it can mean equality. It can mean partnership, right? It can mean independence. It can mean fairness, right? But to a lot of other people, it can sound like a lack of value or underappreciation, or any appreciation, honestly, right? It truly depends on who you ask and what the experience is around it. And it, of course, gives life to the question that we all hate. What do you bring to the table, right? And this is where dating gets complicated. We know the perspectives from both sides of the aisle, and maybe we need to dial it back slightly farther. Does 50-50 mean equal, identical, partnership? And even if it is, should that be the expectation from the very beginning? Or is this a pointless conversation that has no merit anymore and we need to let it go? I don't know. I think it's worth one more visit. So that is exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. And when we return, the Boss Bae panel will be here to help us navigate that conversation. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. We are back with the Boss Bae panel in the building. Hello, hello. Of course, to my right or left, depending on how you're looking at the screen, we've got the one and only, the new Dangerous.
What's happening, y'all? Let's get to it. What's happening? What's happening?
Period. Okay, and next we have the one and only, the Blue Professor, Miss Sassy Red. And this week we have a fourth Boss Babe panelist, the one and only. If I was dangerous, I could give her a good introduction, but the one and only Dr. Chef Nikki 24/7 is here.
Hey.
What's up, friends? How are y'all? How y'all feeling?
Amazing.
Good.
Like we need to split things right down the middle.
Split things right down the middle.
I bet you do.
I see you starting early.
Yeah.
That's where the split is. Look, I can't even talk. That's where the split is. Just go on ahead and elaborate because I need more.
No, I just love the 50-50 topic because I think it gets people. It is like one of the most hot button things that you can talk about.
Yes.
And it does. It's really provocative for reasons that like I really didn't understand. Like when I was married, we didn't count. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we was like, yeah, it's 50. You know, it wasn't like we were like, yeah, I'm putting 50 in, you put 50 in. We just put all the money in one pot and then went about our business. And so it just didn't make sense. Like the conversation, I was like, people are still talking about this in that way.
I don't even know when people started counting.
Yeah.
Like what year was that?
Yeah. So yeah, but I think it's an interesting conversation. I think it's an important one. And I'm looking forward to a good conversation tonight,
What I think is interesting is when you say, when did we start counting? Even if we are counting, how are we counting accurately when we're counting things that can't be measured? That's what I never understood about the conversation.
Because people not being honest. They're being disingenuous about it. And they're using 50-50 as a stand-in for something else. Like they're not having the conversation they really want to have. They're using 50-50 as an avatar for something else.
Okay. So why don't you go into that a little bit more? I want to know, so what is the conversation that we actually need to have? And I want to know what is the thing that they're trying to like avoid or what's your take on that?
Well, I think it's about needs, wants, desires, right? Expectations in terms of what the structure of the relationship is and how you all are going to contribute to it together. Like, what do you actually need? What does somebody taking care of all of the bills actually mean to you, right? Like, what does that represent? Is it just financial? Probably not. It means something else. Sometimes it's a stand-in for security. It's a stand-in for certainty, right? Like those are things that matter to people. And instead of having the like sophisticated conversation about it, you make it either this or that. And so you don't actually have to engage in a meaningful dialogue, right? And so it ends up serving as a barrier to you actually doing the work of showing up in a relationship in a way where you are intentionally building it, as opposed to saying, oh yeah, no, if you're not doing this, if it's not showing up this way, I'm not doing it at all. And so you get to easily, what we treat as like standards and expectations end up being barriers to just having a meaningful relationship with people.
Mm. Yeah. I definitely understand that. What I think, like, I can get the whole, like, I think that a lot of times when we have this conversation, we look at it from two different perspectives, but have the same thing whenever we're looking at it. Like, first of all, I understand a partnership, right? And I understand both people needing to contribute to the partnership to make the partnership whole, despite the percentage that each person contributes. That's how, like, if I'm speaking like just from my beliefs. What I don't understand is having that expectation from jump. That's what I don't understand. Okay. Cause we're talking about from a relationship standpoint. Okay. I get that. That's cool. Contribute to your home, your household, whatever. But people be popping off at the beginning, like from the jump, like, hey, like, the very first text, so I'm just, is that where this starts? Is that what this means? Is that, I think that it's a very different conversation if we're talking about in a relationship. And we can talk about it being it in a relationship, right? But also this seems to be something that people are expecting off the rip. And that's where I'm kind of I am lost. I am lost in the sauce and I cannot swim. I will not.
I think it's juvenile. It's juvenile. I think I was following with what Dangerous was saying about it. It's dressed up. It's another conversation that people are trying to have. I'm not sure what that conversation is. I think that there's really a lot of anger and animosity behind, depends on who's actually putting the conversation up, but behind a person. Usually when they're having this, it's also along the lines of, what do you bring to the table conversation, that type of thing, right? Like I see those two conversations. I see the 50-50 on the table. That's really what it is, right? When they're having it. And I think that it's just very, very disingenuous, right? Because people do not want to use their words. And I think you summed it up nicely when you said to talk about their wants, needs, desires, and expectations in a relationship. And then also being really honest about what that means. If we're talking monetarily, right? Like it's just, I don't know who all these people are. You guys may know them. You may be them, but it's very hard to find a relationship where the one of the persons is making so much money that an entire family can be supported on it. And I don't care what income bracket you're at usually on that, right? It's also, hard to find someone who just wants to be kept, right? Like that's just their existence, is to be kept and walking around in a silk robe and house shoes, or a silk robe and kitten heels, right? Like it's very hard to find this unambitious person who just wants to be kept eating grapes all day. Like, I don't know. It's a weird conversation.
I don't think it's a weird conversation in the sense of, I think ultimately what people are really getting at that they don't want to discuss is, what I put into this relationship, what am I going to get out of it? So if my 50 going into this relationship, what am I going to get out for putting that 50? If I put in 70, what am I getting out of this relationship for putting in 70? That's really where people are. You might shake your head and look at it that way,
I
but
think that's why they're all having the conversation, because they're mad and alone.
That's ultimately it.
And all they can do is have weird conversations like that.
I think that a lot of people are thinking of it like that. However, in a relationship or a partnership, if you're not coming to contribute, you're coming to take, right? So like if you're not coming with the mindset of, I want to love you, I want to support you, I want to invest in you, right? Then why are you there at all? Because if you have to check somebody and say, oh, by the way, what qualifies you to be here? Why are you asking me that? We clearly have nothing. We clearly have nothing in common. If you have to ask me that, I'm not great at verbalizing my issue with the 50-50, but more so with the, what do you bring to the table? How do y'all feel about that question? Can we get into that for a second? Sassy's shaking her head. No, absolutely not. Why? Tell me why.
Right. I just think if we're talking about 50-50, I think it stems from different definitions. You know what I mean? I feel like it depends on who's asking, because like people in the comments are asking, is it just financial? You know what I mean? And I think for me, if you're coming to me to ask me, or tell me like you prefer or your preference is 50-50, you got to lay it out in baby terms as to what that looks like. Because some people think in their mind that it is just financial, to where it's like, okay, well, if I'm making, we go out on a date, we're splitting the bill. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, if you're talking about also relationships, I'm like, okay, well, that's not 50-50 all around if we're talking numbers. Because it's like, okay, well, what about if, how, within the household, you know what I mean? Like we're dating, but now all of a sudden, like, well, yeah, we live together. Now does 50-50 also still mean like, okay, well, I cook, but you clean the dishes? Like, what are we talking about? Because then if I feel like the whole conversation will stir up to bring up conflict, and then that becomes a thing. So now it's like, okay, well, where you're lacking, then what? Now we have the discussion to where it's like, you can't even effectively communicate. You can't even share equal time together. I'm like, well, what happened to this 50-50?
Right.
If you're someone who wants to go 50-50, so here's the thing. I definitely can understand if I just met you and we're like, hey, let's go have lunch together, and we don't know each other all like that. I guess we're not asking each other out necessarily. We sort of just kind of agreed, right? And so we're just going to split it. We're just filling each other out. We're not even, it's not, no one asked each other out. I don't know if that's not ever happened to you before, but maybe it's just like casual. You just meet somebody and it's like casual, right? It's not a date. So I can kind of see those things taking place there, and you're like, okay, now I got it, or you got it, or let's just split it, or whatever. We're just having lunch or dinner or something.
Right.
I can see that happening. But what is ever 50-50? Right? Like if you're going into anything thinking about a relationship, there's nothing that 50-50, like
at all.
There's nothing that's equal in this world. Ever. There's nothing that's equal. And so to even approach a person like that with the seriousness of dating and getting to know it just lets me know that, one, you are not a critical thinker. That's how I feel. Like you completely missed the mark on that. It could never be 50-50. And it reminds me of the conversation that Gabrielle Union had. She I don't know why she even said any of this out loud, but when she was dating Dwayne, I don't know his name. Dwayne Wade,
her husband, her now husband.
When they were married too,
yeah.
She was like, we are 50-50 completely. I will pay half of everything. And she approached that for years in the relationship and the marriage, and she was going broke behind it. Because how does that make fucking sense, woman? He makes 100 times more than you. 100 times more than you, and you're splitting the bill down, like right down the middle. You're paying half the mortgage, half the car notes, half the electricity, and it's not putting a dent in his half of the expenses.
But it's taking off of it.
Right. It's taking it's taking 97% of yours. And that's how relationship can be too, right? Like somebody may work from home, but because I'm not doing 50% of the cooking, right? I'm going to wait till you get home to even start so you could do your half, even though you have to commute. Like, right? That kind of person approaches a relationship like that. And that's just a red flag. I just feel like anyone who has that conversation to me is like, it's a red flag. Well, it's a red flag in a friendship.
I mean,
I agree with that. That's a good point.
And
I think it's just another layer of, the conversation is about how people value themselves in the marketplace, right? Like it's, some of the conversation, because I heard what Sassy said, like we all over the place. And I think we all over the place because some of these pieces are threaded together, right? Like you can't, like the conversation about 50-50 is often deeply entangled in the conversation about what somebody brings to the table, often deeply entangled in the conversation about what people believe they are worth to somebody else in the market, right? Like who they are and what they deserve, right? By virtue of how they see themselves. And all of it's bullshit, right? Like at a certain point, some of this is just bullshit. You're not having an actual meaningful conversation. What you are doing is priming an argument, right? Like that's all you're really doing is priming an argument. Like you setting up the argument that you want to have because you are showing up to this process adversarial. Like, there's no universe in which I'm getting ready to, on the first day, say, well, how do you feel about 50-50? That doesn't feel like good first date conversation, right? Like that just like, what are we like? I don't even know, I don't even know what you do for a living. Like how can I talk about 50-50 when I don't know if you got 35? Like you may not even, you
got 5.
Right. Like, I don't know what it is that you, and when I think about, and this is just sort of me personalizing it, there is no universe in which anybody could show up in my life and do 50%, because there are parts of my life you just don't get access to because of how my life is set up. There are certain things that you cannot contribute to because I've built my life that way, and that part ain't changing. Right. So I'm not like, we can't have a 50-50 conversation because I don't need you to help raise my kids. My daughter's got a mama and we got that job. Right. So you come in at a deficit. You could never be 50-50 because that's a part of my life you're not going to get to touch that way. Right. And so like it just isn't. To me, it often feels disingenuous. It is people coming to a table saying that what they're also communicating, specifically when they talk about it financially, is that you want somebody who is making multi-million dollars. You want a multi-millionaire, right? You want somebody who is independently wealthy, who can come in and change your lifestyle, right? Or who can elevate your lifestyle. And that's cool to want that, but you don't have to couch that in a conversation about 50-50. Just say, I want this. Right.
Well, like, I think that is also like, I'm going to be very unserious right now, but I am serious. I'm not going to sound as serious when I'm saying it.
Sure.
But you'd be like broke ass whatever is having this conversation too. I'm sitting here like, are you serious right now? Like, let's be real with it. You want to have this 50-50,
nickels to rub together. You ain't got two nickels to rub together, and we for the first time in history,
you can't afford the women that you're attracted to, is what it is.
So then you want to, because now that's what I think.
Right.
Usually it seems like, and so now you want to disparage all women, and you want
because
to,
you're inadequate.
And
that's what it seems like. I don't know if that's what it is.
Side of it, and the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
And the other side of it, because I think that's a valid and fair point. And I think the other side of it is women want a lifestyle that they can't afford without that man.
Very true. And I don't find anything wrong with that. I'm going to be a walking contradiction right here.
Sure. And of course, right? And I think it's everybody's entitled to what they want. And I think what it ends up doing is disparaging the guy, right, who's an honest workaday dude who would, who wants a real healthy relationship.
That's the price of patriarchy.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's like you can be mad at it all you want to, but it comes back to like, even if we're just talking about like it can't be 50-50 because we don't make the same shit. You know what I mean? Like there is a wage gap. So I mean, it's a completely it's different whenever it comes to a historical routine of
thinking about history. The women who having that conversation, they're thinking about the historical marginalization of women. At all. Not what they bring into the conversation. They bring it to the I want Birkin bags. Whether they vacations I can't afford. That is not what they thinking about or talking about.
But the women,
whether they think about it or not, that's the thing about it. This power system, right? Whether they think about it or not, they're affected by it.
Sure.
You know,
absolutely.
so
yeah.
And also,
this is where we hold multiple truths, right? It is true that the patriarchy informs it. It is also fuels it. It's also true that there's women who making this argument who want a life they can't afford, and that's not a wrong thing.
Who want a life they can't afford, but somebody else is willing to pay, right? And that's okay.
They somebody and ain't got it.
Well, I mean, I think that those are like really people who are actually. We know delusion comes into so the same way that there are men out here who are saying 50-50, but they don't even have 50, right?
Yeah.
There are women out here who are claiming that they want a Birkin bag and they're nowhere near going to be able to command to get that.
They still in Michael Kors land.
They're just not going to be able to do that. But I do think that there is a trade-off, right? And so the 50-50 conversation is very interesting when it comes to the things that are unsaid. So you want a bad bitch, well, then you're going to pay for a bad bitch.
Absolutely.
Like if you could, right? Like if that's what it is, that is the 50-50, right?
Yeah.
It's not the actual financial number there, right? Yeah. That is the 50. My half is I'm going to remain that bad bitch. Your half is you're going to pay for it. Cool. We agree. And that's the whole thing. It's what is the conversation? What are the expectations? Yeah. Right. And I did say seriously, the consolation of patriarchy, that this is a consolation gift for women, right? Yeah. When it comes to, no, the 50-50 doesn't exist, because if men aren't out there barking loud to change it, to knock the patriarchy down, then you're still benefiting from it. And so, absolutely. Yes, I'm going to get my consolation prize. I'm still going to play that system that same type of way. That's how it's going to be until you dismantle what it is that needs to be dismantled, because I can't do it. That's just the truth. I can't.
Get your bag, baby. Get your bag. I want all my babies to have bags, but some of y'all ain't bad bitties. You poorly behaved women. Anyway, moving right along.
I think what's so interesting about this conversation is it literally is just like, this is the conversation you have in dating in like this sort of romantic setting, because like you, to your point earlier, this isn't something that happens with friendships. You don't go to someone you want to start a business with and say, so what do you bring to the table? Like that doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to bring 50%? Like, that's not the conversation that's had. Whenever it's an organic friendship, that's not the conversation that's had.
You know, the other part that happens though, I don't think it's too far from this. I think it always comes with, and because the reason why we want the 50-50 is because you guys wanted this. You guys aren't traditional anymore. You wanted, feminist. You wanted
equality
to be 50-50.
Is what they call it.
You wanted equality. Right? So we're going to split it 50-50. We're going to make it equal. You wanted equality, so you're going to pay for equality.
Well, then push out that baby.
That they wanted equity actually instead.
Yeah, well, niggas be stupid, right? Men are stupid in groups. Like we be stupid in broad groups.
No, we wanted
so that don't
equality
surprise me.
before the law, though. No one was. I don't think it ever said 50-50 anywhere. I just don't know how men got that.
Yeah. Well, it's disingenuous. It's not honest.
And
right?
how it only refers to money. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
It's like it only refers to money.
Because some of y'all don't know how to clean a toilet. Like you ain't. When the last time you cleaned a bathroom in your house, my nigga?
That's the thing. I think that's the conversation that people are not having. You know what I mean? That's why I said it gets to a point to where you need to break it down as to what that looks like. Because, you know what I mean? You may just be thinking, financial, but I'm like, well, what happens elsewhere? Because you may not have the skills to know how to manage money, but you can make the money.
Right.
So I'm like, but you're not asking me to help with that because, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's how some people operate. But it's like, okay, well, if we need to work on how we, resolve conflict, are you educated enough to do that? Like, can we get together each month and, you know what I'm saying, discuss who gonna do the laundry this week or this month or what? Are we sharing that as well? Like, what we doing?
I'm not having that argument if your mattress is on the floor. Like,
but this is the crazy part. It be the people with the mattresses on the floor asking the question.
How dare you? You don't even have a bed frame.
A table. Let's worry about your bed first, sweetheart.
Oh my God.
This is part of the 50-50. I need you to bring the bed frame to the relationship.
Clearly. Oh, baby.
Get you that mound bed frame. You need your little starter bed. Let's get you.
That's a good way to explain it though. Like, okay, well, if I have to, bring my bed for you to have a good night's sleep, then that probably isn't the place for you or me to be sleeping. Like,
but to be serious though, like there can, that's not to say for people that are really, out there listening and really taking heed to what's said. That's not to say that you can't meet someone who isn't doing as well as you or who doesn't have it all together and they can't come along and be uplifted by someone. I'm not saying that to say that, right? Like, I think it's the intention behind the what it is that you're doing, right? Like what you're saying. I think it's all with intention. All with intention, right? Because we don't all have to have it figured out in a relationship. You could be down and struggling. You could be an actually really good person. You just, like Sassy said, you just bad with money, right? And I'm a whiz with money. Let me show you how to come in here and fix your finances. And you're a really good listener. So you're listening to that. You're taking heed to that. And now we about to be great together, right? Like that can happen. I just think, we all know it's a red pill conversation, right? It's what you said earlier. 1,000%. It gets the people going,
for sure.
And it's very visceral for people, right? Because depending on where you are, if you're a male and you have foot the bill so many times and you feel like you're played, if you're a woman and you are, working as well as taking care of the home, then you're also feeling like I'm giving more than 50-50. I'm giving you all my check. And I'm coming home and I'm taking care of this house and I'm checking up on your mental health and I'm checking up on your mama's mental health and I got your sister and your cousin and all of them, right? Like you got all this going on, right? And so you're like, this is not 50-50 at all. You might pay my phone bill a little bit, but come on now. It's not 50-50 at all.
I believe in mutual aid, right? Like I think that, good partnership, and I think you like nailed it, right? I think that, and I find myself having more of these conversations like the older I get, right? Like I'm 43 years old. I'm not somebody's boyfriend. Like if we involved, I'm like I'm a partner, right? Like if I'm dealing with somebody, like I'm never like, please don't call me your boyfriend. I'm a
boyfriend. He said your boyfriend here.
Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like,
what about my man?
I mean, that's cute. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know what I mean? But like,
you say that to your friends,
right? Of course, right? That you say it to all your friends, right? At any rate, but I think it is, sort of where, you find it, and really where sort of like the anchor of this conversation is just people understanding of what relationships are at their core, right? Like, what are you trying to get? Like, what is your purpose? What is the intent? Like Nikki said, of this connection, right? Are you in this to build something together, right? Or are you in this to extract value, like maximum value for yourself, as like in on negotiated terms, right?
What,
like
what do
Nikki
you
said.
think the
Go ahead.
difference is between a partnership and a relationship? Right? Like as we look at them and we look and see how some different characteristics make up these two different settings. What are the big ones that make that are a big difference for you that turns a relationship into a partnership, I'll say?
A partnership doesn't have limits, right? Like I'm thinking about like
No limit soldier.
When you're using something in terms of a relationship is like, I can only ask you this. I can only do this. It's compartmentalized, right? I have relationships with coworkers in those environments, right? That's where I have that relationship. A partnership, you are in all parts of my life, right? You are a part of all parts of my life. When I don't have it, you got it. When you don't got it, I have it. And that's whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically, it's all of those things socially, right? I think that a partnership works in conjunction. I was thinking about, because I was using AI a lot, you guys, and I was thinking about AI. I was trying to explore like how Claude works. And when you're working with some systems, you see that some systems need credit and some systems don't, or some things need credit to use and all that. I think that a relationship is like that. You need a credit, right? A partnership, you don't need it. You're free to use, and not without boundaries. Let's not get all crazy with it, right?
Right.
But right, but
hello,
that's more of what it's like. It's also you're not keeping tab. That's the kind of thing that I feel like. And maybe relationships do, but you're not keeping tab. You don't know that it wasn't 50-50.
Yeah.
You're not keeping a score like that.
When you're happy.
When
And
it's a true partnership, right? It can go down. Now partnerships on a spectrum. It can go back down to relationship real quick.
If you don't know how to act, buddy. Because you know why? Because whenever I think about it, similarly to what you were saying, when I think about a relationship, I think about a role, right? Like a boyfriend. Like, don't call me a boy, right? Like a role that you play without having, you know what I mean? Like, this is where I know this person, this is how, and this is what you have the jurisdiction to do. This is how much access you have to me, right? It just feels a lot more like a role or like this is your defined space. Whereas, like you were explaining about the partnership, this is where I want to share all of this with you, you know, and I want to take in all of this with you. It's very different. And I think that we often in our minds, especially with just the way, like people are just so hurt and jaded these days. Like everybody is walking around with like a big ass chip on their shoulder. And this, you know, from the one time, you know, in 5th grade when the girl didn't give you her barrette and like whatever the case, right? So like, but these things have now evolved into like how you approach relationships all around to the point that you're asking people about 50-50. It's just a very skewed and unrealistic way to look at a situation and ultimately a partnership. I'm not going to say a relationship because that's why I think when we talk about all the ships, like relationships extend to like with yourself, with your family, with your friends, but a partnership is very clear and distinct. We are in this together. I've got your back and you've got mine. And whether I have to give 50 or 100 today, I'm going to do it because that's what's called for me to do in this partnership right now.
Jesus. Right. I don't want to mistake that though for me saying, and I believe 100% everything that you said, 1,000%. But I think it's hard too because we still have to have modern day protections, right? Right, like prenups, right, postnups, all those things. You still have to have that conversation, and that's also what can leave people feeling jaded, right? Because you're going into this partnership together, but then you also have to consider what will happen when the partnership dissolves or could dissolve, right? I still have to protect myself. Like you don't know. People trip out. So I don't advise anybody to be like, no, I don't need a prenup. I don't need this. People lose their damn mind.
Look, if you got a little something in the account, go on ahead and get that.
You don't. Even if you don't, right? Even if you don't,
need it.
You have things. You have yourself to protect. I mean, I think about So yeah, I think that the way that you all talk about partnership is like a lens through which to view it. You know, like personally, like, I'm a relationship anarchist, right? I don't ascribe to like traditional structure and management of your connections and your relationships. I think people should be co-creating and building the partnership that they want with a person. And I think that every partnership is a relationship, but not every relationship is a partnership, right? And what I mean by that is that there's an investment. To me, partnership is investment, right? Partnership is saying that I am showing up in this thing with the intent of being in it long term, which means that I am going to ride the ebbs and flows of this. Like we are going to grow, shift, develop. We are going to talk. We are going to communicate. We are going to build this thing together. To me, a relationship is like a thing you kind of stop at, right? Like I just like, oh yeah, you my boyfriend, right? Like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm your boyfriend, and that's kind of it, right? Like I don't really care about what's happening next, right? Like partnership to me belies an intent to be deeply invested in the person and what you are building together in a way that I don't think that, for me, like I don't see a relationship carrying that same burden, like a boyfriend kind of situation. So that's just me.
Based off of like what he's saying, I think that's the thing. People do make things transactional. You know what I mean? And I think if that's the norm for most people when you're out and dating, but you also are that person that wants partnership, how do you get to that if your mind frame or people's mind frame is transactional? Like, you know, if I'm spending money on this, you coming to the house. Like what? You know what I'm saying?
What do you say? What do you say?
Yeah, like
What do you say?
how do you get from, you know, the basics or what's normally out there, you know, from this relationship to where to actually what you want? I'm thinking to myself, like, is it an old school thing? Do you have to have somebody that's also like minded to where it's like, okay, well, the older people believe in partnership. This young generation, these YBs and these YNs believe in in, you know what I'm saying, making it transactional.
I think it's
How do
values
you
more
get to
than it
that?
is necessarily age, right? I mean, I think young people are thinking differently about how they connect, right? And you know, some of what happens is, right, you get fed these images, and you know, like what you get fed is what you believe is what's happening in the marketplace, right? And you know, I think that people generally are thinking differently about how to connect with each other, right? And what it means to be connected to a person, and trying to figure out how to do it in ways that make sense to them. And I think that at a very basic level, right? Every time I feel like it comes up every episode, you got a relationship with people who want to relationship the way you want to relationship. Like, like find the people who share your core values. Like first you have to know what your actual values are. Like know what your values are, and then align yourself with people who share those values. Like aggressively pursue that, choose that. And because folks is out here trying to like on people who don't like them the same way, or who they don't like at all. You liking somebody you don't actually like. Like, you don't actually like this person. Like you're just dating this person because you want to be busy.
Ooh.
Done it before. It happens. It's very true.
You know, and so
It's very
that
true.
gets you
Nowhere.
yeah, it doesn't.
Nowhere.
Like, and now
Literally.
you're back where you started, and now you're mad as
If not
hell leaving
regress.
this thing. Yes, you end up backwards on the scale. So now you anti this thing because you are making choices that run counter to your own best interest, because you aren't being honest with yourself about what it is you actually want, and choosing the people who agree, right? Who say, "Oh yeah, I'm with that."
And what I think is so funny about the irony behind this whole topic and this whole conversation is, I mean, I say it every week. We always go back to the importance of investing in yourself. So whenever you can move about uncomfortable situations, you know how to come back to yourself. So no matter what other speed bumps, well, no matter what pops up in the middle of the road last minute, you're able to swerve or stop or avoid or do what you need to do because you know how to handle yourself.
Or crash the fuck out.
Or crash the fuck out.
Crash and burn.
And that's the thing. Like,
Crash and
if you're that
burn.
one person, I'm like, when you're in a situation, you start to see what's out there, right? You'll experience to where it's like, if you are the person that's done the work, that's, meditated, that's, regulated yourself, that's done all the things for you, right? That's taken the time out. You then start to see like, okay, well, you'll also get with people that haven't done the work, to where now you don't even know how to hold a conversation, let alone talk to a woman. Or, you know what I mean? To where it's like, okay, well, this is not what I'm here for, but they just ready. You know what I mean? I've been in situations to where people will come to the date thinking like you are it, but you don't know nothing about me. You haven't, you know what I mean? I'm your first experience after being in singledom for 6 years. Like, it becomes a thing to where it's like, okay, well, you haven't spent the time with yourself. So I think I think the people that are thinking, I want to be aligned with someone, are not the same people, are not the masses of people that are out here like, I want to get with him, I want to get with her. Like, they don't have the same mindset. It's like, I'm tired of being lonely, so I'm gonna choose you. And you know what I'm saying? While your mindset, you be like, hold on, I'm not gonna be no placeholder for you, because you know what I'm saying, because you don't want to be by yourself. Like, it varies, because I'm like, you as that person that's done the work, you have to regulate that, because some people out here are just winging it. They're like, I don't know what I'm gonna just see how it goes or where it goes, and you be like, no, we don't align. We not gonna do that. I'm like, I'm gonna wish you the best on your journey and wish you well.
Yeah. It's funny because we can continue to have this conversation and go into like the different things that it implies or that it means, but at the end of the day, people are gonna interpret it the way that they want to. My big ask though is that if you feel the need to ask someone, what do they bring to the table, or do you believe in 50-50, ultimately that would tell me more about you and your relationship with yourself. And I would just urge those that feel that way to just reflect on why you feel that you need to make sure that that measurement is accounted for. Why do you feel like if someone says they're going to do it, that they're going to do it if you're just meeting them, right? There's a lot of different things that go into it. So I think that's one of those things that if you are prompted to inquire or think that about, why? It's always good to go that extra layer and reflect and ask why, That's how I feel.
I don't even think they have to ask why now. Just ask ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure it's
well, depending on how you have it trained, that thing turns into an echo chamber.
I mean, that is true too. Open up a brand new one, go to incognito on your browser, do all the things, and ask as a brand new person. A brand new person.
You don't have to start over. You just prompt it to do better. You tell it, hey, this is what I need you to say to me, and this is how I need you to treat me going forward. It'll do that.
Really?
Stop the
with
BS.
honesty?
Yes.
Be like,
Yes. You tell it, say, I need you to be honest with me and stop giving me what I want to hear and give me the hard truth. It will turn around and say, okay, well, since you asked for this is what I've been waiting to tell you.
But it'll do that. Like, you have to do that. You can't just say that and the setting stays. You know what I mean? You have to tell it that every time. Like, no, for real. Like, if you were looking at this from a critical eye, you have to be, that AI is wild. You gotta be on.
I will say, and in the same spirit as El Presidente, my big ask, Sassy, I need you to grow up. Sassy is my kind of child.
Did it sound like I said ass? Is that why you said that? It did? My big ass? Okay. I said ass. Okay.
It definitely did.
Is that what happened? I just realized like ass. Is that what I said? Okay.
You're going to have to edit.
Well, if you don't say X, we didn't
how petty the boss babe panelists are.
Me and Sassy had the same reaction. I was like, Lord.
Listen, I was giggling in my head thinking, am I alone in this? Did I just hear this?
My big ass is, wait a minute, hold on.
Y'all couldn't say that so I can re-record it. Lord have mercy. Y'all don't care
You
about
were
me.
really trying to say the S.
You was
The K.
cooking.
You're trying to say it.
I don't know much
Just
about
say X.
algebra.
Just say X.
If B can skip the R, I can skip the K. Goddamn.
Yeah.
She's gonna go back and listen to that part again. I can guarantee that.
No, she's definitely going. You definitely go. You may have
My
to
big
make
ass.
that edit on the back. Yeah, you can make that edit on the back end. But
I don't know how.
Hit it with a slow mo.
Yeah. Yeah, you got. I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know what you're gonna do. But that was.
I'm gonna have to. I have to
You
like.
had to edit out me and Sassy literally going into hysterics about it.
Yeah, we won't use that.
Scrub that. But I think it's really important. To your point, Elle, when folks ask questions, to ask one more. Right, like always, like never be afraid to ask one more question. There's an exercise called the 5 whys. And essentially what it is when somebody presents an idea to you or a concept, you ask why 5 times, right? And by the time you get to the 5th why, if you get to the 5th why, because sometimes you don't have to get that far, you get to the place where somebody has unpacked what the thing they are actually talking about is about truly. You know, like if we get to 5 whys, we gonna get down to the base root, the root of what this is actually about for you, and that is a different conversation, right?
Let me see. Can you practice that right now? So we're somewhere, and you ask me, "What do I bring to the table?" Say that. That's what you're saying to me.
Look at Nikki ready to role play. Hold on. Let me go.
When I say back to you, why? I can see how that could be adversarial, right? Like if we're sitting there, and you go, "What do you bring to the table?" And I go, "Why?"
So it doesn't have to just.
I mean, you could say that's an interesting question. Why do you ask?
Yeah.
It's not just it's
why in it.
It's not just a term why. It's a reference to why.
Yeah.
So why would you like to know that? What's important about that? Or
yes.
And so the conversation kind of flows from there. The reason I'm asking about that is because I'm thinking about what like contributions I need from a partner and what's meaningful to me, and I'm curious as to what you bring to the table. Or what you believe.
Why are you thinking about that in the first?
My question would immediately, well, where are you lacking that you feel you need support?
Skip for the why. I said, I want to know where.
So first of all,
the question
I'm the wrong person
why
to
can
ask.
go down the wrong path. That's why I said, I was like, are we
But I think it's not the wrong path though, because where you get to is discomfort.
No, right? It's good. No, I do like it.
It's there for root cause analysis. You're trying to understand what's the root problem of what's being presented to you, and you won't find it without finding out what's the real reason of why you're asking. And it takes practice to do the 5 whys. You can't go into a conversation and just start asking, well, why? Kids do it. Yeah. Kids do it all the time. Kids will ask you, well, why?
I do it all the time, and
you sure do.
Definitely labeled argumentative, right? Especially by men.
Oh my God. It's like, and it's not even a difficult question. It's like, it's just one question. Why is this giving you a brain aneurysm right now?
Right.
Oh my God.
So tone matters, right? The tonality of it.
Tone
Professor, you better, Professor.
Tone absolutely matters.
Tone?
You lost already, dog.
Tone.
Tone policing. You just tone policed.
Wow. I didn't
I have to soften it for you, Daddy.
I first of all, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
You do.
Why would you say it that way?
Crazy.
You know why?
No, I don't. Can you explain it to me why?
No, I can't, because you absolutely do know why.
No, I really don't understand where you're going with that. Can you explain why you're saying that?
That's the problem. You're going to keep doing it.
Why is that the problem?
It's the problem because it is.
Because it is what?
Because we are married. At that point,
he's trying to get to the root of it, right? But yeah,
but you're going to get cussed out like that.
You just ask why, and then the tone is not right. There are all of those things that kind of get to it. It's very interesting. I think that it only works with someone perhaps that has that mindset, and they probably wouldn't have asked you that question to begin with anyway, right? Because that's
either way. I think it works either way, right? Because you find out something about a person.
You do. Right? I hear you on that.
Yeah, like you find out something about a person. Like if I am somebody who likes to know, right? And if you are a person who shows up to a conversation in sort of an oppositional sort of position, right, where it's like even the curiosity is offensive, right? Like then it's not gonna work because I'm gonna be asking why regardless, right? Like that's just my nature. And so if that makes you uncomfortable, then this is probably not like the right dynamic for you, and it's probably not the right dynamic for me. So this is good information on either side, because now we can part ways, and I can be like, you know what? I am so glad we had this night.
Can I ask when would be the right time to actually have that conversation? Because how do you guys know when, if we weren't on these panels and you weren't watching someone's live or something like that, how do you know that person that you're talking to is the type of person who might ask that question if they don't ask it? Because there are some people who just won't necessarily ask it, but they're thinking that. What does she bring to the table?
I'm sorry.
What do you bring to the table? Are you 50-50? Like, when is it appropriate to have that conversation? Because there are people who will date you for a couple of months, longer than that, but all the while they literally are like, no, when it comes down to paying for these bills, when we get in a relationship or a partnership, I want you to pay half the bills, no matter how much money you make, or I expect you to cook all the meals. Where does that come in?
Part of my issue with that question, right? Like, what do you bring that, or what? That's exactly part of my issue with that, because if you just have your mindset to ask that question in that way is fixated either on money or, I mean, honestly, it's a lack of money. That's what when I hear that question. You have a lack of money. Like,
go ahead, ask me.
Because
what you bring to the
table? You could
the check, please.
Right.
The check.
Literally.
Bring the check.
Because you could ask those things so many other ways. What's important to you? What are you passionate about? Are there any good causes that you like to donate to? Do you volunteer? Where? Right? These are just off the top of my head, so many different questions you can ask to get that information and assess for yourself if you find value in what they do.
You can find value in all the things that they do like that. I think the value is the important piece, but to the point of the actual question itself, how do we function in a household when we live together? Understanding what the dynamic looks like, that's completely different. All the questions that you're asking is more about, I understand who you are as a person, which is cool. But if we get into this household and we're living together, then all of a sudden a bill comes in and you're like, hey, babe,
because
you got the money for that bill? And I'd be like, okay, yeah, I got my half. Together. But again, I can understand your value of who you are as a person, but that does not come down to nitty gritties of who's paying this bill when that bill comes in.
We paying the bill.
It gives you an idea of my mindset and my character. Right? What do you mean?
But not everybody has that mentality, right? That's the whole point of the question.
It's not a mentality. It's a critical thinking skill. And I would say shame on them.
No, I think that what Blue is saying, though, right? Blue, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Blue is like, if you don't have that conversation, though, about how you pay bills, how do you like to pay bills? When you get in a relationship, and plenty of us do this, because when we get in a relationship, how many of you guys have the conversation about, well, how do we actually pool our money together? Do we have one bank account? Do we have a central bank account? Do we have several bank accounts? You know, how do you feel about retirement? What percentage are you actually going to contribute? Am I going to contribute only? Are we going to have an IRA? What are we going to do? Like, where does that actually come in? I've seen people who actually get married, right? They get married and they haven't had the conversation. They haven't had the conversation about shared assets, about finances. How do you do it?
And debts.
Running credit score together, right? Like, what we might be quick to ask, as you should. You definitely should be asking about their health records, right? But you also don't ask. People are like, we're not.
Can I see your my chart, please?
Right. They should have a I don't know. They should have a QR code now for the to share your my chart. But people don't ask about the credit score. They might have a QR code. If they don't, go invent it. Because damn.
They got a QR code.
They do. See. I don't know if I'm gonna look at it, but I don't know if it does. Why would it have a QR code?
To be able to pull it up.
It's on your phone.
Not for you.
For me, that question, the reason even why it's phrased the way it is, like the whole 50-50, it's because it's the numbers. It's based on money. Like, that's what fuels that conversation, is the money behind it. I mean, we can look at it into other, areas of a relationship, but that's not typically how we refer to energy. You bring in 50-50 energy? Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that's not, you bring in 50-50 education, like you bring in 50-50 child labor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
just not the way we typically refer to those things. So in my mind, I hear, I don't have money. Do you have any?
I mean, and well,
That is crazy.
That's what I hear too. Though, I'm not gonna lie.
I find out that you ain't got no money either.
But I feel like
because my 100% has been to be out in my car by myself.
Anybody who has money is never going to ask that. Is never going to say that ever. Ever.
No, that is not true.
Unless you're a rapper, unless you're great.
Nikki, I know you are not. I know you are NCD, not currently dating, but people out here are having that conversation.
Sorry, that's what I said. Money and class. There's an and on there.
Money and class.
I mean, I think that there are plenty of women out there who do want to be taken care of. They are in a soft girl era. They 100% want to not have to do things, and that is an okay thing to want. It is a valid dynamic by which women can and should exist. There are men out there who are willing to do all of those things for women. I just don't think that it's not very many women, right? Because that was something that I think came out earlier. Was like, there aren't that many women out there asking for that. Actually, yes, there is.
For what? Asking for what?
Someone to take care of them.
To be taken, to be kept. Like I can throw a rock and hit a woman that want to be kept. Like in 2026, I can throw a rock and hit a woman that wants that. Right. And that's not a diss. Same. It's not a dig. It's an observation.
I can do that with men,
what
though,
does
too.
Kept mean, then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kept up with everything. Everything is kept up for you.
What does that mean?
It means you don't
to say what it means.
It means financially you have not a burden. Yeah, that part too. But kept ultimately means that there's nothing that you have a want for. There's nothing that you have to think about in terms of going out and getting it.
What like what? I got to think about getting a tampon. Like, you're going to put my tampon in? Like, tell me what kept means.
Yes, baby.
Because he said you don't want to. You have a want.
Your nails done. Your hair's done. Your makeup's provided for you.
You're not going to do my nails. You're not going to do my makeup. But what you're saying is that financially, I don't have to pay a bill. Like, say the thing. I don't understand. Like, say the thing.
I think you understood what I meant when I said it. I think you did. I think you understand the term, the general term. When a woman is kept, you understand that general term, yes?
I understand that people have an idea of this notion that a man can 100% keep a woman. You can't, like, it. If you're talking about financially provide for everything, yes, but you're not going to be my secretary. You're not planning my day. You're not doing, like, there are levels to keptness, right? And so, no, you're not doing that. Just providing 100% finance is also not keeping a woman. It's not a kept woman. So what level are we talking about here? Just, there are plenty of housewives, right, who can be classified as kept, who don't pay a bill, but also don't have their nails done, right? So there's all of these things that are happening here.
See, this is why I love having these conversations with y'all, because y'all always give me a different perspective to reflect on and to consider whenever we have them. I just love how y'all do that each and every week. Let's go ahead and close this episode out. I want you guys to do your outros, let the people know who they are and where they can find you, and then we will get into L Said It. Dangerous.
Hey, all right, y'all. So I am the new Dangerous. You can catch me every Tuesday, either in the comments or in the box. Modern Day Bae. Love being here. Shout out to my Boss Bae panelist status. It's the best part of 2026 for me so far. So shout out to El Capitan, El the Drug, for making space for me. You can also catch me every Monday, 10 p.m. with my indefatigable, indomitable, incomparable, illustrious co-host, the Nikki 24/7. Good Dr. Nikki for thumb on the scale, man. Make sure y'all tap in with us. It's always a good time, good conversation, and lots to learn.
What's going on, good people? It's your boy, the Blue Professor, your favorite Sigma on all social media. You can still catch me here, there, and everywhere. I'm still hopping in and out of boxes. But if you want to catch out a good vibe on some foodie content, come check me out sometime. I'm still posting as much as I can, and hopefully I'll be posting a little bit more daily.
This is your girl, Miss Sassy Red, the Sukuna kind of sur. Okay?
Hey.
And if you're looking for me, understand you can get a double dose of me, okay? Because I'll be here Tuesdays and I'll be here on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time during the Weekly Fix with my girl L the Drug, okay? Where we putting it down. So come in, tap in, you know, get this good content.
Hey, you guys. You already heard Dangerous say where you can see me. That is Mondays at 10 p.m. Then I'm over here on Tuesday at 8 p.m. And then Wednesday, starting September 9th, Empowerment Through History is coming back. And I have all of your favorite historians from TikTok coming for this season. So if you love Black history as much as me, make sure you check me out Wednesdays at 9. Also, if you're a reader, you can catch me Sundays at 7 p.m. with Ms. Divine for The Right Circle. We interview indie authors here on TikTok, and we have a good time.
Love it.
Love it, love it, love it. Shout out to the Boss Bae panel. Like I said, always coming through and dropping those gems. I appreciate you. And now it is my turn to drop a gem or two. It's time for El Said It. This is the portion of the show where I give you my feedback and key takeaway about the topic at hand. And as we were having this conversation and going back and forth about all the different ins and outs and this and that about 50-50, I don't think the problem is actually the 50-50. I think the problem is that we're using a percentage to define a partnership. Realistically, relationships are rarely 50-50. Sometimes you're at 80 and I'm at 20. Sometimes I'm at 70, you're at 30. Sometimes you don't got nothing and you have to depend on your partner to show up with the 100%, right? The idea is that if and when that happens, you've chosen someone that when life changes has enough trust and love to know that the person who's carrying less isn't planning to let the other continue to do that forever. That is the partnership. It's not about keeping score. It's not about keeping receipts. It's not making sure every dollar, chore, gesture, and sacrifice is perfectly even, because that's impossible. But if you provide the safety of knowing that when it matters, we both show up and it changes the dynamic completely, now we've created a safe space for each other. For me, the goal was never 50-50. My goal is to, during tough times, never have to wonder if my partner and I are in this together. This week's affirmation is I deserve relationships where reciprocity feels natural, not negotiated. All right. And when they ask you,
who told you that?
Make sure you tell them Elle said it. All right, you guys, tonight's episode is brought to you by Drug Radio. A big shout out to the Boss Bae panel tonight, the new Dangerous, the Blue Professor, Miss Sassy Red, and Nikki 24/7. Also want to give a big shout out to our DJ Rich Beats, our admin and talent producer, Barry, and our audio and visual coordinator, King Lido. And of course, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Modern Day Bae, especially if you pulled up during the live recording. We appreciate y'all every week whenever you do that. So thank you. Make sure you tap in every Tuesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Drug Radio. Tuesdays, Modern Day Bae. Fridays, the Weekly Fix with Miss Sassy Red. So make sure y'all tap in. We're live on TikTok. And please remember, 1, that my name is Elle the Drug, and 2, that you deserve to live well. We'll see you next week.